Hello and welcome to episode 17 of Think Big with Michael Zellner. All positive, no politics. My guest today is Lori Knight. Lori and her husband Brandon are in the mental health and wellness business, and they actually have their own brand called Fueled that actually helps people with natural, clean solutions that for people that, for both their physical and their mental health. It's really awesome stuff. We're going to learn a lot about that today. So welcome to the show, Lori.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
It's my pleasure. So tell us something interesting about yourself that most people don't know.
Oh gosh. Well, I have four kids, but I had all three of my big kids by 23. So by 23, I had bought a house, bought my own car, and I had three kids. And I was young. Had to grow up fast.
What was that like at 23?
It was fun. I was really young. So we all just kind of grew up together, but I was even an assistant property manager at the time of an apartment complex. So I really did have to grow up super quick, but most people don't realize that about me.
Yeah, I had no idea about that. So, both you and Brandon are really in a great place in your lives now, but it wasn't always that way. There was a point in your life where you felt stuck and you were staying in bed all the time and, just didn't want to face the day. Why was all that happening at the time?
Well, after I had my daughter, our daughter, me and Brandon have one child together, and then I have three kids from a previous marriage. I just had the normal, postpartum, not really depression. This seemed very different. I'd had postpartum depression with my first child, and this was very different. I had extreme anxiety. I didn't really realize that that's what it was. But I wasn't getting much sleep, obviously, with a newborn. I also had plans of going back to my job while I was on maternity leave, and I had some anxiety around that. I mean, of course, leaving my child, but they had done a lot of changing and reorganization and changed our roles and cut our pay in half.
Wow.
And so I was in the propane business at the time, selling propane. And with propane, you sell contracts and you're paid based on propane usage. So even contracts I'd already sold, I was going to get 50% less than what I was going to get previously. And of course, I just had a baby, so more
Right.
expenses, and they wanted us to travel more. And I was like, this makes no sense. So of course, there was anxiety around that and figuring out what I was going to do. And actually started an online boutique, which was fun, but I was working around the clock. Of course, not getting any sleep with that either, glued to my phone. So I think that it was the perfect storm.
Right.
There were so many things going on in my life that I had to face the day, didn't want to face the day. But yeah, I was struggling.
I don't think many people, don't realize the effect that if you've never had anxiety, you have no idea what it feels like.
Mm-hmm.
Some people get help, talking to someone, some people take medicine, but ultimately still, those are not, magic pills. You have to end up figuring it out yourself. And the thing that really, and I went through it myself a few years ago after getting blood clots. And I remember the deprivation of sleep from anxiety. This really has an effect on you. It's bad.
Yeah, it is. It is. And I didn't realize I'd also had spells of it off and on for years looking back. And it was like college of not sleeping, staying up late, drinking all night, and then going to games the next day and having these mini panic attacks. It's scary. But you just kind of forget about those things. You don't deal with it on the norm, and then it hits you again and you're like, what is this?
Right. You guys were about to open up a smoothie shop, and right before you signed the lease, you found out about the products that you're currently taking and you're promoting. You switched gears. What did you do and how did that change your lives?
Well, so part of that's true. So we found a company that did help with our anxiety, with our weight. It changed our lives. It changed my daughter's life. That's actually how we found it. And then I just so happened to have friends that were with the company too. We actually did a business shift recently. We still offer our clients those original products. They're wonderful products.
Right.
There's just a lot. There's a lot that you have to take. And we started losing some clients because of that, because either they weren't used to supplements or maybe they were, but they're already taking some other things as well.
Right.
So we actually were looking for something that was a little bit more simple and more affordable. So we found another company and brought that under our brand, which was kind of our vision all along. Once we found that original company and we had our brand fueled, is we kind of considered ourselves almost like a digital storefront, almost like a digital GNC is kind of what we thought might happen. Being able to recommend really great products, because there's not always a one size fits all.
Sure.
You know, some products with both lines work really great for me, but maybe not so well for my husband, and vice versa.
Right.
And so just having options and finding the best fit that goes with people's lives, that's our ultimate goal. And, you know, helping people just feel better. It's as simple as that.
And that's a wonderful goal to have. You know, one of the products that you talked about, I think that we actually discussed, was the Fuel Factor X, I believe. How does that help people? You know, obviously gas prices are just freaking insane right now, even though they've gone out a little bit. I was telling somebody they're still $4 a gallon, even though they've gone down.
Yeah.
And you know, how does it help people save money on their gasoline bill, that product?
So yeah, that's a new product that we brought under our brand. It's a fuel additive, and it's this cool little bottle, and it pre-measures how much you need to put in before you fill up. So you just put it in your tank and you fill up as normal, and it extends your gas mileage over time, and it cleans your engine. There's just so many great things that it does. It just made sense for us to bring that under our brand.
Sure. Perfect timing right now.
Yeah. And, you know, we've heard so many stories, and you've probably seen too videos where people are crying at the pump, you know, like it's hard when, you know, people are living paycheck to paycheck already, and then inflation hits, gas prices go up, groceries go up, everything goes up, and people don't know what to do. And most people have to drive to go to work. You know, I'm very fortunate I can work from home, but not everybody can. And so this just made sense to help people save money at the pump. They also had a really great program that people could sign up for free and share it with other people. So it was another way for people to make income. So yeah, it was just a no-brainer to bring that under our brand.
Yeah, I know about the gasoline. When I bought my Hummer H2 in 2005, gas was $1.69 a gallon. It had never been over $2 before. I remember the look when I brought it, you know, I showed to my parents. My dad was like, "You're just insane. Look at that tank." And, you know, then went up in 2008 and everything, and it came back down. But I mean, I put $50 of gasoline in my car the other day, regular unleaded, and I got between a quarter and a half a tank. It was like halfway in between. So I was like, I don't even want to fill it up all the way, because I'm sort of scared what that number is going to be.
Right. And that causes anxiety.
Yes, it does. It absolutely does. You know, you talked about the boutique, and I know that you stopped doing the online boutique, and Brandon, I believe, left a full-time job that he had for several years, you know, career that was going on. That was a really huge decision to make, especially when you have 4 children. What led you guys to make that big move?
For his own mental health, honestly. He is still doing some HVAC on the side. He's actually doing that today, but being able to fully control, you know, whether he wants to take that job or not, is huge. He's had his hand in so many different things over the years, and HVAC has always pulled him back in, unfortunately. Money's good. He grew up in that business. He knows it well. He has so many people in that world that just love him, and they can always rely on him. So
that's great.
It is great. But it's hard because it's not something he's passionate about.
Right.
And so, yeah, being able to step away from where he was and now, pick and choose what he wants to do. That was huge. And it was mainly because of his mental health.
Now, was he in the bar business at one point in time?
Yeah. So we actually, dated when we were 15 years old. He crashed a pool party that I was at, and I thought he was cute. And, we dated, we couldn't drive, obviously. So my mom would pick him up, take him to church with us sometimes. And then I broke up with him because I didn't see him as much as I wanted to. But anyway, we hadn't seen each other in over 16 years. And that bar is the reason we got together. We were Facebook friends for years, but of course I was married at one point. He had been in relationships on and off for years and lived in California at one point. And it was just kind of, I guess, perfect timing. I didn't realize he wasn't in a relationship, but I was out with a coworker, and she was like, "What do you want to do next?" And it's like, "Well, I have a friend who just opened an art bar that I've been dying to go check out. Let's see if he's there." So I messaged him. He said he was going to be there for a little while, and we've been together ever since that night. Like
That's so awesome.
I was his date to a wedding the next day. He was the best man in a friend of ours, a mutual friend's wedding. And yeah, it's just crazy. So yeah, that bar has a lot of meaning for us.
And then you went to another bar after that. I think you guys ended up going to Silly Goose after that night together and ended up hanging out at Silly Goose afterwards.
We did. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a really great story. That's just awesome that you guys came together that way. One of the things that you have said is that if you want to be anything but average, be prepared to be prepared to be talked about by the majority of people who love to sit around the campfire and gossip. Do you think that happens because unfortunately so many people are afraid to get out of their comfort zone and pursue their own dreams, so they want to rain on yours?
Oh yeah, absolutely. And some people just don't understand. They don't understand what I do, especially. People are just real confused. They think that, I just get on social media and post a bunch of pictures or videos, and I do get monetized for reels. So, I mean, that is why I'm posting partially, but that's not all of it. Like, I work very hard and I care about people and I really want to make a difference. But I think people are, they're too afraid to go after whatever dream that might be in the back of their head that, they may be telling themselves, that's silly, or somebody's telling them that's silly. And, I don't know. It's not silly. It's not silly to go after what you want. And it's hard putting yourself out there.
Absolutely.
But yeah, I do think people want to rain on your parade just because they don't have the guts to do it themselves.
And you have to be, for what you guys do, you have to be genuine. I really believe that people can spot a phony, if they really think that this person doesn't really care about me, they're just in it just for themselves. Of course, you got to be in it for yourself too, because you're trying to improve the quality of your life, but you have to genuinely care about people to do what you do. Oh
yeah, absolutely.
I mean, it's a good feeling to be able to help people. And I know that that's a big part of why you guys do what you do. I have an interesting question. Tell the audience what a grilled iced honey bun is, what it tastes like, and how you got introduced to them.
Yeah, that was my husband who introduced me to that. I guess he's been doing that for years. But anytime we're at a cookout, whether we're hosting or we're at a friend's, he is always getting the iced honey buns, not, the ones with the white, thick ice. Yeah, not the glazed ones, but the thick white icing. And once you're done grilling and you're letting it cool off, but it's still warm, you put it on there for just a couple of minutes. I'm not even a big sweets person. Like, I can turn down sweets all day long. Every once in a blue moon, I'll want something sweet, but that's good. It's real good.
I need to be invited to one of those parties so I can have one of those. Even just take a cheap moment and have one, because that really sounds really, really good. How did he end up coming up with that idea?
I have no idea. I don't know. I don't know if somebody else introduced it to him or if it was one of his ideas.
Sure.
I don't know, but he's a sweets person. He loves sweets. So
sweets to the sweet.
Yeah.
You said many times that, people don't know our stories and hardships. They make judgments without knowing the full story. Why do you think that people do that?
I think we've all been there. We see a snippet of somebody's life, especially on social media, and you think you know them. You think
Right.
you know life. You think, I don't know. You see what they want you to see, basically, and then if they hear something that's hard, or maybe they even see it on social media. So, I mean, I've been very vulnerable about things that I've gone through.
Right.
I just think it's very easy for someone, whether it's good or bad, to make some type of judgment. I don't think we always mean to. It's just we're human, and uh, we just naturally do that. I don't know.
I think that when people on social media, I mean, like you said, you just don't know the whole truth. And unfortunately, we know a lot of people don't put the full story out there.
Yeah.
They put out there what they want people to know, and being fully transparent sometimes is really difficult.
Yeah.
But I can tell you from personal experience, it's the best thing in the world for you.
It is. Yeah. And I think, social media started for connecting people, and it was almost like a virtual scrapbook in a way. You're posting pictures, and, you want the happy times.
Right.
And then it got to a point, I think people were tired of either feeling fake or tired of feeling alone. And the more that they share different stories, the more people are like, yeah, me too.
Right.
And that's a huge reason why our business has been successful, is because of our stories. People feel comfortable coming and talking to us about the hard things that maybe they do post about on Facebook, but a lot of times they don't. And so, yeah, it's been pretty cool.
I think that so many of us don't realize how much having good health starts with your mindset first, not your body. It means, until you've made the decision deep down that you want to make changes to your health that are lasting, anything you do, like going on a diet or working out, most likely it's going to be temporary. What do you believe are some of the first steps someone needs to make for lasting positive change?
Ooh, well, starting's the hardest part, whatever that means, whether that's a routine with working out. I've had people, say, people that don't believe in supplements say, oh, you can do it with exercise and a diet, which I absolutely believe you can. But there's some people that they need something to help them get out of bed,
Right.
to make that first step to work out, to eat right. And just like sometimes people need medication, even though we do a lot of holistic options, I believe in medicine for some people.
Right.
I'm never going to be completely against that. I just think our products work great in conjunction with that, or they're a great option for people who don't want to go the medicine route. Maybe they want to try this first to see if it can work.
Right.
But yeah, I just think the hardest part is just deciding that you're going to make a change and having an accountability partner, somebody, that knows your goals, that's, going to cheer you on, and they're not going to, dog you if you're not doing what you need to do, but they're also going to keep you accountable to make sure that you may have a down day, but tomorrow, let's get back.
I think that's, that exactly what you said. It's making the decision to get started, and it could happen in a moment. And that's how it happened for me. Last year, I got on the scale, looked down 403 pounds, and I was like, F this, I'm done.
Mm-hmm.
It was just a moment. And I said it out loud. I remember turning around, my dogs are laying on my bed, and they sort of like turned their heads because I said it pretty loud, because I was just angry with myself. But you have to get to that point to where you're really ready. And, starting that day, I just made the changes. But you're right. It's making that decision to get started.
Yeah, absolutely. Being sick and tired of being sick and tired.
Right. I read something that you said that I 1,000% believe, and I think it's one of the reasons why I personally wanted to do a positive podcast, and have been very open and transparent about my struggles. And, at the end of 2018, and the things I did to save myself. You said you could be what someone else needs to decide that they too can follow their dreams, that you can be that reason. You just never know the influence that you have on someone, and it really needs it, but maybe is afraid to ask for it, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I know there's so many people that I've seen that have been inspirations for me, and I hope I can be that for somebody else too. Um, just letting them know whatever's possible, getting healthy, or going after their dream job, or whatever it is possible.
You said, quote, pivot if you must, but just don't ever give up. I love that quote of yours. What does that mean to you?
Well, I mean, life never goes as planned, right? Ever. And that's not always a bad thing, like I think sometimes if we have had our way, we wouldn't have the life that we really wanted, or that we thought we wanted. But just knowing that you can have a dream and you can have a goal, and something can happen in a moment and that change everything. But it doesn't have to change your goal and, your dream. It just, you might have a different vehicle to get there now. So I think pivoting is so important. Change is hard for a lot of people. It's hard for me sometimes, even though most people that know me know that I've done a lot of different things. And so it surprises them when I say that change is a little uncomfortable for me, but I'm just not afraid to try something, and because I know what I want. I want the time freedom. I want to have control over my life and what I get to do and who I get to spend it with. And so I'm going to figure out the best vehicle to get me there.
I don't believe in coincidence at all. And there is no coincidence that you and Brandon, when you guys met in 1999 at that pool party that your friend, I believe Jen, pulled you to.
Yeah.
And you saw him and you're like, he's cute. And you started, I think you were like maybe 14, 15 at the time. And you talked about your dating, and you couldn't even drive yet. Your parents are taking you places and stuff like that. And then you lose contact for several years. And then social media comes about and you reconnect again. And then you, like you said, imagine, you just think about it. Your friend pulled you out that night to go out. You didn't want to go out. You went out. And then you remembered, hey, I have a friend that has a bar. And if you hadn't have gone out that night, none of that would have ever happened. I mean, think about how one night changed your life. And like I said, no coincidence. You talked about how you have 3 teenagers, that you had early. You guys have a beautiful, little adorable daughter, Madison, that you guys have together. That means the pictures you post of her on Facebook and everything, they're awesome. She is adorable. She's a little you. Actually, it was everything that happened. Like I said, no coincidence. It was supposed to happen that way. It really is a great story, and I know that you are so happy now.
I am, and I was in a bad place the night that I ran into Brandon. I was mentally in a really, really bad place. So I think about it a lot, of how different things could have gone if I had given in to just go home and be by myself and wallow in my sorrows. And so I reflect, especially around our anniversary, like our dating anniversary, especially, it always gets me emotional to think about like one decision away from changing everything.
I don't know him, but I've seen so many of the pictures and things that you've done, and watch him brushing Madison's hair and, daddy's little girl and stuff. He really seems like he must be really an amazing guy.
He's an amazing guy. Yeah, he is the best.
That's awesome. Tell us, what are the most important lessons that you believe that you've learned in life?
Learned a lot. And still learning. I think your circle is very important. Your circle matters. I've been burned a few times by people in the past, and sometimes it causes me to have a wall up. But I think just having people surrounding you that you trust and that push you to be the best version of yourself is so important. Not giving up on your dreams, whatever they are. I don't care if anybody tells you that they're silly or it's impossible. it's possible. If you want it, go after it. So I don't, and for me, having some type of higher power, God is the only way that I have been able to do anything that I've done.
That's awesome. So if somebody wants to, learn more about the products that you guys have, do you have a website or something they could look at online?
We do. We've got thefueledlife.com, and that has all of our different product offerings on there. Yeah, that'd be the best place to go.
Awesome. Lori, it's been really a pleasure to talk to you today. We've been Facebook friends for many years, and I really have watched you come a long way. And it really is great to see you so happy. You've really worked hard at it. You deserve it.
Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you again for coming on.
Yeah.
Have a great day.
You too.